Amigo Brothers by Piri Thomas. Antonio Cruz and Felix Vargas were both 17 years old. They were so together in friendship that they felt themselves to be brothers. They had known each other ever since childhood, growing up on the Lower East Side of Manhattan in the same tenement building of Fifth Street between Avenue A and Avenue B. Antonio was fair, lean, and lanky, while Felix was dark, short, and husky. Antonio's hair was always falling over his eyes, while Felix wore his black hair in a natural afro style. Each youngster had a dream of someday becoming lightweight champion of the world. Every chance they had, the boys worked out, sometimes at the boys' club on 10th Street and Avenue A, and sometimes at the pros gym on 14th Street. Early morning sunrises would find them running along the East River Drive, wrapped in sweatshirts, short towels around their necks, and handkerchiefs, Apache style, around their foreheads. While some youngsters were into street negatives, Antonio and Felix slept, ate, rapped, and dreamed positive. Between them, they had a collection of fight magazines second to none, plus a scrapbook filled with torn tickets to every boxing match they had ever attended, and some clippings of their own. If asked a question about any given fighter, they would immediately zip out from their memory banks divisions, weights, records of fights, knockouts, technical knockouts, and draws or loses. Each had fought many bouts representing their community and had won 2 gold-plated medals plus a silver and bronze medallion. The difference was in their style. Antonio's lean form and long reach made him the better boxer, while Felix's short and muscular frame made him the better slugger. Whenever they had met in the ring for sparring sessions, it had always been hot and heavy. Now, after a series of elimination bouts, they had been informed that they were to meet each other in the division finals that were scheduled for the 7th of August, 2 weeks away. The winner to represent the boys' club in the Golden Gloves Championship tournament. The two boys continued to run together along the East River Drive, but even when joking with each other, they both sensed a wall rising between them. One morning, less than a week before their bout, they met as usual for their daily workout. They fooled around with a few jabs at the air, slapped skin, and then took off, running lightly along the dirty East River's edge. Antonio glanced at Felix, who kept his eyes purposely straight ahead, pausing from time to time to do some fancy legwork while throwing 1-2s followed by uppercuts to an imaginary jaw. Antonio then beat the air with a barrage of body blows and short, devastating lefts with an overhand, jaw-breaking right. After a mile or so, Felix puffed and said, "Let's stop for a while, bro. I think we both got something to say to each other." Antonio nodded. It was not natural to be acting as though nothing unusual was happening when two ace boon buddies were going to be blasting each other within a few short days. They rested their elbows on the railing, separating them from the river. Antonio wiped his face with his short towel. The sunrise was now creating day. Felix leaned heavily on the river's railing and stared across to the shores of Brooklyn. Finally, he broke the silence. "Man, I don't know how to come out with it." Antonio helped. "It's about our fight, right?" "Yeah, right." Felix's eyes squinted at the rising orange sun. "I've been thinking about it too, Pannon. In fact, since we found it out it was going to be me and you, I've been awake at night, pulling punches on you, trying not to hurt you." "Same here. It ain't natural not to think about the fight. I mean, we both are Chevrolet fighters, and we both want to win. But only one of us can win. There ain't no draws in the eliminations." Felix tapped Antonio gently on the shoulder. "I don't mean to sound like I'm bragging, bro, but I want to win, fair and square." Antonio nodded quietly. "Yeah, we both know that in the ring, the better man wins. Friend or no friend, brother or no." Felix finished it for him. "Brother. Tony, let's promise something right here, okay?" "If it's fair, hermano, I'm for it." Antonio admired the courage of a tugboat, pulling a barge 5 times its welterweight size. It's fair, Tony. When we get into the ring, it's got to be like we never met. We got to be like two heavy strangers that want the same thing, and only one can have it. You understand, don't you? See, I know. Tony smiled. No, pulling punches. We go all the way. Yeah, that's right. Listen, Tony, don't you think it's a good idea if we don't see each other until the day of the fight? I'm going to stay with my Aunt Lucy in the Bronx. I can use Gleason's gym for working out. My manager says he's got some sparring partners with some more or less your style.